start out by talking a little bit about study methods. Many of you may have not done much economics or finance before. And the important thing to realize is it's not a subject where you can just simply read things and understand them. You have to absorb this material over time. You can't leave it all to the end. And you have to be able to apply it in finance, which is somewhat different than understanding the concepts that we're going to develop. What I would suggest is that at the beginning of the term, when you still have some time available, you read the chapters that we're going to cover in advance so that you get some idea of the terminology and what we're going to look at in the class. Then you should come to the lectures and listen to the lectures. Then after the lectures, you should go and review the material we've covered. I suggest you read the notes in detail. What you'll see is that we use models to help us understand the world. And the way those are built up is with a lot of individual steps. Each step is relatively straightforward, but to understand what's going on as a whole, you need to understand the sequence. Now, to absorb that, as I say, you can't just simply read it once. Usually you may have to read it several times, and don't be surprised if you have to go through it 5 or 6 times to grasp what's going on and how you should think about the concept. You can also use the book again. The book has broader coverage. We have fairly limited time in terms of classes. The book can actually expand a bit more on things, and that's part of its role. Now, what is key is the step after you've understood the concepts to applying them and solving problems. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not straightforward, just go straight from the concepts to problems. And this is why we get you to do problem sets every week. Those are the minimum number of problems you should do. You have to hand them in each week, and they're graded. They'll come back to you. They count for the course. If you have time, then you should do more problems than that. The more problems you do, the better. One big issue is what you do with the notes. When you download the bulk pack, you'll see that the notes are basically a transcript of the class. They have all the examples that we go through and so on. Some people like to bring them to class and write them in the margins and so on. If there's some points that I make in the lectures that are helpful to understanding and so on. Other people just like to come and sit and listen, knowing they don't need to take notes because they can download them and use them from the bulk pack. If I do that, I fall asleep. If I just sit there, I fall asleep. My mind wanders and everything. So what I do is take notes, take my own notes and use those in addition with what's in the bulk. What you need to do is to figure out what's the best way for you to learn. Which of these methods or any other variant that you can come up with works best. So try and figure that out and make the best use of the notes possible. Now you may wonder why we have cameras in the back of the room. And the reason is that we record everything. We make videos available to you, so if for some reason there's a particular part of the class that you didn't quite follow and you want to go back again, you can look at the video and do that. If you are, for some reason, are unable to come to class, then you can go and watch the video. One thing I should warn you about is that there are mics in the ceiling, and if you have a conversation with the person next to you, it may not be a private one. Now, not only may the people in the class hear it, but the school is also doing a program with Coursera. Now, Coursera is a company where it's an alliance of many universities whereby they post recordings of courses and people can look them up and follow the course. Wharton's decided to do that for several of the core courses. It's going to be like a window on Wharton so people get an idea of what is it we actually do here. And this course is going to be one of the courses for that. So your conversation, I think we currently have just under 50,000 people signed up, so your conversation may not be private at all. The other thing to be wary of course, is that because we've got cameras in the back, if you have a PC open, it may not be private either. So be responsible with that and bear in mind that that's going on. Any questions about any of that? We do have lots of resources in terms of TAs and things. So if after you've studied things and looked through the material, you have problems with the concepts, or if you have problems applying the concepts to the problems, then come and ask questions either to me or the TAs or whoever. As I say, we will have plenty of office hours once the term gets fully going. This is a large class. It's bigger than most of the classes of Wharton. Please don't let that make you reluctant to ask questions. If you've got a question, the chances are that many other people in the room have the same question, let alone the 50,000 Coursera students. So please ask questions. When we do finance and economics, what we do is we have a lot of assumptions. We don't have time to go through all those assumptions every single time. And so there's a whole set of background things that are assumed. If you don't understand what's going on, it's probably because you haven't quite grasped that. So ask questions, what's going on here, why exactly are you saying that, and so on. And that'll be very helpful for everybody.